Hi, I'm Tanya Nugent. Today on Pacific Pulse, we see how dance therapy is being shared with people in Papua New Guinea. For 21 years, Adelaide-based Restless Dance Theatre have been lifting the hopes of people with disabilities all over Australia. And now they've taken their inspiring performances overseas for the first time as one of the highlights of the Australia Week celebrations in 2012 in Port Moresby. Restless Dance Theatre's youth ensemble burst onto the stage at the Port Moresby Arts Theatre. This is the company's very first international gig. The youth ensemble is a group of disabled and non-disabled dancers aged 15 to 27. The ensemble produces one major production every year, as well as films. The performers at Restless are also given pathways to take on even more challenging roles.
Sound the alarm! You're going to be uncomfortably energetic!
This work, titled High Voltage, was chosen to feature during Australia Week, and its young choreographer is one of the company's shining lights.
I'm Wilson James Hopper, I'm 22. I came here because of my work. I'm a senior member of the company, I'm an oldie. Yeah.
So how old were you when you joined?
13 or 14 when I started workshops. Then I got picked to be in the youth ensemble when I was 15. Thank you for coming. When I come to Restless, it opens doors for me. I feel someone's watching me. When my mum and my dad come to see my performance, they feel not alone, they feel experienced about me and my dancing, and I love dancing.
Productions like this are just part of the work Restless does. The organisation also spends time doing professional development for teachers and people working with disabilities, and it holds ongoing workshops where new stars are discovered. Today's visit to the Cheshire Disability Service is a highlight for the group from Australia.
Today was one of the best days in our lives because we received a good delegation from Restless Dance from Australia, who paid us a courtesy visit here and performed a number of arts. Cheshire is a very old organization which started sometime in 1965, basically as a home which was meant to provide safety and security for people with disabilities, especially children who are found abandoned by their families or neglected. So they were basically brought here to get some medical support. We recognize the fact that putting people with disabilities in a home and not giving them the empowerment that they need is not really helping them to participate fully in development. Within Cheshire, we have about 5 programs which are being implemented concurrently to give opportunity for people with disabilities and their families to participate actively and vibrantly in order to promote their own self-independence. The other program we have is community-based rehabilitation, which is basically the largest component of our program, and it basically looks after about 300 disabled persons from within the nearby community. So far, that program is the model for inclusive development, and we try to approach disability right from the grassroots The number is continuing to become very high because of the many children who are being born with disabilities in the communities around us.
That was so touching. It was completely different to what we had ever seen. And there was some really fantastic dance, and I think I've spotted some new talent actually. Then we had an opportunity to do a workshop. And I found myself standing on the big esky, towering over 300 people, trying to orchestrate a workshop on a tarpaulin. And it was really, I think it was really fun. You know, it was a very different way of moving. It was a different way of approaching dance. And it demonstrated what it is that we do at Restless and how we start off by playing a game perhaps and getting to know each other through physical interaction and movement and play and gestures and just fun really.
It was a very joyous and momentous occasion for us in Cheshire because it provided the opportunity for our own children with disabilities to know that they have the potential to do as better or as much better as their colleagues in other areas in the world.
And then reaching. Excellent. And then a circle to finish.
It will go without saying that with disability, if you give a chance to a person or a child with a disability at the earliest time of his life, then you will have changed his life for the better, and he will have less dependent on yourself or on the provider, and therefore making them independent to become more responsible citizens in PNG. So the dance was a good opportunity, and coming up at a time when we have just developed our first strategic plan in which we have incorporated sports, we have incorporated dance and cultural participation as key components of rehabilitation. Because we believe through such dances, dancing is therapeutic in nature in itself, and dancing is a way of therapy to the physical handicaps, and it gives them the opportunity to communicate effectively to their groups and to themselves and their families. So we hope that the partnership between Cheshire Organization and the Restless Dance of Australia will continue to prosper and to advance into greater skill development aspect in which some of our children will also be as good just as themselves. We've never had something like this in Cheshire where a group of people with and without disabilities come to perform such kind of activity in Cheshire. Obviously, you could see that there was very light moments and joyous moments as our children performed the dancing together with their colleagues in Australia. And the most important part of it was that they were seeing some of the Australian dance group who are disabled, literally taking the role of leadership and championing the dance with a way to communicating that disability is not inability. So it was a good communication not only to our children with disabilities, but also to the parents and the staff who accompanied them.
So we'll finish today with probably the highlight of Australia Week for me. The village of Tubuserea near Port Moresby were lucky enough to score the Australia Week Community Concert for 2012. Here's what our cameras captured when Melbourne-based band The Red Eyes turned up to play a few tunes.